and welcome to What's Your Story? I have a guest for you today by the name of McCready. Now, she is in the UK, and she's a highly skilled emotional resilience coach, trauma practitioner, and 9D breathwork facilitator. And as the founder of McCready Coaching, she created a transformative platform dedicated to empowering women who've weathered life's storms, faced trauma, and navigated adversity. With a deep-seated passion for uplifting individuals, Kay guides them in acknowledging, understanding, and processing their emotions. And this journey not only reignites their inner spark, but also sets them on a path to a life filled with emotional balance, fulfillment, and genuine liberation. So let's welcome Kay McCready. Welcome, Kay. I know she's here. She's in the green room, so she'll be right with us. Welcome, Kay. There she is.
Hi, Judy.
Hi. We're so glad to have you as a guest today. Thank you for being here.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for hosting this today and inviting me to come and chat with you and your audience. Thank you so much.
Well, my audience is going to love you. I just wanted to ask you a question because you used to be a police officer. Is that right?
Yes, that is right.
Yeah, that's interesting. Now, how did you get from being a police officer to this journey of helping women navigate their adversity and face trauma? Well, I guess as a police officer, you did all that, but how did you go into your own business, into McCready Coaching?
Yeah, very, very interesting journey. I was a police officer for 28 years. So I retired when I was 55. But during that journey, not only did I experience trauma, other people's trauma within the organisation, dealing with that on a daily basis, I also experienced my own personal trauma as well. So as a police officer, you have to be really resilient. You know, it's the type of job where you're dealing with one job after another. You're doing lots of violence, lots of different, challenges, whether it be physical or emotional challenges every single day. And because you're doing that, you have to find different coping strategies, different ways to deal with that. And generally, they're not very good ways, but they're just ways that, we come up with, such as going home from work and having a drink every night, or, making jokes about things with your colleagues that might not be very funny. But that's the way in which you deal with all of those different emotions that come up, because it's, we don't see it as being a strength as a police officer to show what's classed or deemed as a weakness, i.e. showing your emotions. So, it becomes a bit of a toll, and it takes a bit of a toll on you. So with all of that, you can only keep bouncing back so long. And I was able to do that and manage that really well within the organisation and deal with everybody else's challenges. But then when it came to my own personal challenges, I found it really difficult. And what happened for me, Judy, was my 4-year-old son, Cameron, he died. So he got cancer.
No.
And I was, it completely broke me. I wasn't resilient anymore. I didn't have any more strength within me to keep going. And I went on a really dark journey. It took me 10 years of struggle and challenge and depression and, being in a horrendous place. And it was just a not very good place for me. And I didn't have any coping strategies anymore. I didn't have any techniques, any strategies. I didn't have that resilience because I wasn't looking after myself. I was not in a very good place emotionally. So from that, I wasn't looking after myself physically. I was self-sabotaging. I had a lot of emotions inside that I didn't know how to deal with. A lot of guilt, a lot of resentment, a lot of anger, frustration, loneliness, all of those things. And I didn't know how to deal with those. So, there became a point in my journey where I did break what I'd class as, I was very, very broken. But then when I eventually turned that back around, that's where I found the strength in myself to not only help myself, but I actually found lots of different techniques and strategies that I could use to rebuild my emotional strength.
Mhm.
And then I had those techniques and strategies and I put them in place every single day, I realised that I was able to help other people do the same. And it started off with helping police officers in the organisation in which I
Yes,
worked,
yes.
because, you know, they were experiencing similar things, although maybe not the death of somebody, but they were experiencing lots of trauma and challenge and struggles. And squashing their feelings down, their emotions down, like I used to. So when I, you know, discovered all these different techniques and strategies and started putting them into practice, I was able to actually help other people. And that's where, you know, I was then able to help colleagues and also people who I was working with as well, members of the public. I found myself helping them. And then I realised that actually, you know, when I did retire from the organisation, that's what I was going to take forward. So 5 years before I retired, I actually set up my own coaching business, and that's when I, you know, started working with people on a professional basis as well. So yeah, very much a difficult journey, but a very rewarding journey.
Yes, yes, I'm sure. I'm sure. I'm so sorry about your son. Can you describe a pivotal moment that led you to prioritize well-being in your professional journey? Was there a moment that said, "I have to prioritize this"?
Yeah, there was really, and that was because, so after my son died, when I, you know, I went into hospital with him, came out without him, and I didn't know what else to do apart from go back to work. So a week after my son died, I actually went straight back to work and I started dealing with the same thing day in, day in, day out, because that was the only way I could continue. And it was actually when I went to a domestic violence incident and I was dealing with a lady, and I was looking this lady in the eyes and she was saying to me, "You don't know how I feel. You don't know how I feel." And she'd actually lost her son. She didn't know I'd lost my son, but she was screaming all these obscenities at me, but she was staring me in the eyes saying, "You don't know how I feel." I didn't say at that moment I do, but actually I found in that moment I was looking at myself. It was as if I was looking at myself, and the things that she was saying were the things that I was actually feeling. So I went away from that incident and I went back to work, and that was the moment when I said, you know, I can't do this. So I ended up going on sick for quite a long time, and, you know, starting to discover ways in which I could heal myself.
Yes, yes, because we do have to heal ourselves, and so many of us try to push those things down when we have hurts and loss. We try to push it away. So how do you maintain balance between your emotional health, your physical health, and the demands of your professional life when you're going through this kind of thing?
Yeah, it like I say, we all want to push those things down because they're painful. We don't want to feel them. Nobody wants to feel pain. So we want to avoid it in any way that we can. But what I've learned over the years is that, first of all, it's really important to start to connect with how we feel, because so many people are disconnected from how they feel, you know, because it's uncomfortable to feel those things. And we come up with coping strategies, we disconnect because it's easy to do that. The most important thing that I found was to actually learn how to connect with myself and to connect with how I was feeling. And that goes when you're talking about, you know, physical and emotional health, because everything we put into our body creates something. You know, we get a feeling from that, whether the food we're eating makes us feel in a particular way, the exercise we do makes us feel in a particular way, the things that we listen to make us feel a particular way, the people we surround ourselves make us feel a particular way. You know, so for me, what's really important to balance those things out is to make sure that I am my priority. My well-being comes first. So, you know, I do things every single day that are important to me to make me feel good. So if I can do that by through the things that I eat, the things that make me feel good, the way that I eat, the way that I exercise, the way that I move my body, you know, all of those things help me around my emotional health. And some of those are physical things as well. But I have a very structured routine now, whereby every day I do those things first thing in the morning before I give myself access to the outside world, to my clients, to my family, to anybody. I give myself an hour every single morning before I do anything outside of me to make me, to allow me to be in that place, to allow me to make those good choices, how I want to feel every day. It's really important.
It is important. If we don't take care of ourselves, we won't be able to take care of anyone else. And it's amazing how
Yeah.
many mothers, especially, take care of everybody else and neglect themselves. And at some point or another, that stress really gets to us, because that little voice inside of me goes, "What about me? I want some attention too." So I think you're very, very smart to be doing that. Uh, Describe for me how a particular habit or practice related to well-being has significantly contributed to your resilience.
Yeah, I think one of the main things for me, Judy, is breath work. So years ago when I was a police officer, I never did any breath work, never did any meditation, didn't do anything like that. And if anybody had ever suggested that to me, I used to say, "Oh, that's not for me. It doesn't work for me. It's not going to get rid of these thoughts in my head. It's not going to help me. Too busy for that. Haven't got time to sit down and breathe," and all of those things. Where actually, once I learned how to do breath work, it has been so transformative for me. Because, like I said before, it's about, first of all, being able to connect with ourselves, to connect with what's going on inside our body. We can access our subconscious mind through our breath. That's how powerful it is. So the place where all of our beliefs, those limiting beliefs, the traumas, all sorts of things are stored in our body, we can get access to that through our breath alone. And you can actually silence all of those voices in your head, silence all of the negative talk, silence, all of those discussions that are going on in the back of your head all the time. We can silence all of that through the breath, and we can feel incredible through the way we breathe. And one of the practices that I now do is called 9D breath work. So basically you have a headset on and it has different 9 dimensions. So it has binaural beats, it has 432 hertz, it has vocal coaching, it has hypnosis, all with conscious connected breathing. And that gives us access to the subconscious mind. It allows us to bring those emotions to the surface that we've squashed down, that we've pushed down, that we've avoided, and we can bring them up and release them. And it has been so transformative for me and for so many other people. And I do breath work every single day without fail.
It sounds wonderful. And so do you teach people in your coaching, do you teach them how to do this so that they can do it as well?
Yes, I do. Yeah. So I do that in my private coaching. I also do 9D breathwork sessions on their own as well. So aside from my coaching, I also do the 9D sessions. So I do them for up to 12 people in a group setting. And it is so healing, so transformative, such a safe space where people can heal and grow and share together. It's beautiful.
It sounds wonderful. I want to try that sometime. What advice do you give to entrepreneurs or business professionals who feel overwhelmed by the demands of their work?
Yeah, I think sometimes we just have to take a step back. Take a step back, because more often than not, we have so many demands in life from lots of different things, lots of different people. We have work, we have family, we have all sorts of commitments. And we're constantly trying to please other people. Like I say, whether that be, an employee or a colleague or your partner or somebody else, we're always trying. And we get into that constant, trying to focus on what do we do next? What do we do next? What do we need to do next? Where we need to just slow down. We need to stop. We need to take some time to think about what's really important to us. What is our mission? What is our passion? And then when you know what those things are, you can look at, well, what are my goals? And then ask yourself every day, are the things that you're doing, all of these demands that you have, are they taking you closer to your goal? Because if they're taking you closer to your goal, then hopefully they're taking you closer towards your passion, to your purpose as well, because they should all be aligned and they should all flow into one. So just take the time to stop and ask yourself what's really, really important, because like I've said throughout this, the most important person is you. And the way we become resilient is through our own well-being. Because if we're not looking after ourselves in the very first instance, when challenges come along in life, because they will come along, but how are we ever supposed to get back up and keep going on if we're not looking after ourselves? Our bodies are incredible. They're amazing. They can heal themselves from the inside out, but we have to treat them like the most important thing in the world, because it is the most important thing in the world. And I had to learn that the hard way. You know, I was the one who looked after everybody else, put everybody else first. I was a people pleaser, perfectionist, all of those things. And none of those things helped me, because when it came to the crucial moment of me getting back up after the next challenge, the next challenge, and the next challenge, I was unable to, because I wasn't looking after myself.
And so many women are taught that everyone else comes first. We're taught that as children. We grow up believing that the family comes before us, and that everybody else does too. And so, boy, it's a hard lesson to learn. I'm glad to hear you say that you learned it and you're helping other people learn it, because women need this. Some men need it too, but I think women need it most.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this. You're going to be speaking at the Women Thrive Conference, March 18th to the 23rd. And what are you speaking about there? Are you going to be doing this type of work at the conference?
Yes. So my talk is called Empowering Your Inner Warrior. So I am going to be sharing my personal story within that talk, but I'm also going to be bringing some strategies, some techniques into that talk to allow people to actually process some of their emotions. Because, you know, Judy, at school, I was never ever taught how to deal with my emotions. That, you know, as far as I'm aware, there isn't a lesson out there in school, in education, whereby people are taught how to deal with their emotions that come up from life's challenges. And I was never taught that, and I don't know anybody who has been.
Yeah, no.
So, you know, that my talk is going to be based around that. So this is going to be the lesson that people never got in school, about how, you know, they can process those emotions when they come up. And I am going to give some techniques. I have got, you know, my sun strategy, which I will be bringing into that talk, so that people will get that and get something to take away from that. So yeah, it's going to be really exciting.
Oh, that'll be great. And John's going to put a link up on the show, so that you people out there in People Land, in our audience, you'll be able to get a free ticket to go and attend the conference, and you'll be able to listen to Kay's wonderful program, as well as a lot of other incredible women are going to be speaking during that time. And Kay, if someone would like to get in touch with you, find out how they would get you to be their coach, or find out when you're speaking and they can hear you, how do they get in touch with you?
The best place really is just on social media, Judy. I'm on LinkedIn, I'm on Facebook, and I'm on Instagram, and I'm just under my own name, Kay McCready Coaching. So they should be able to find me very easily.
Oh, that's good. Okay, that's what we want. And I don't have any more questions for you today, because I don't want you to have to give away the secrets to the program you're going to be doing very, very soon. So thank you so much for being here today. It's been absolutely wonderful. You've been a great guest. Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much, Judy, and I look forward to seeing you again soon.
Yes, we will, for sure, probably tomorrow.
Yes.
And thank you for attending my program today. Kay McCready is a lovely woman who's got an incredible background and a lot of information for you. So check her out, you know, see if you can go to the Women Thrive Conference. It's a free ticket. Go there and and watch her program, as well as some of the other incredible women that we have on our program that are going to be speaking at that summit, the Women Thrive Summit, March 18th to 23rd. Thank you for joining me today.